It gets hot here. I guarantee you it gets hot here than anywhere you'll ever go. It'll be 140 degrees in there, inside the buildings. It gets extremely hot in there.
John, what is all this?
Well, I had all my good stuff up here and I didn't have room for it. Now, I was kind of trying to get stuff old junk that I got for sale up here and put my good stuff back in the museum. And that stuff up there is still stuff that I had up.
This isn't your good stuff then?
No, no, no.
In a room full of rust, surrounded by a weed-choked automobile graveyard, Big John Chadwell has a vision that someday this will be a museum honoring the long-forgotten remnants from the early days of motorized movement.
What about this museum you've been talking about? Where's
well,
that?
it's on further deeper into the building here.
Lead the way. Let's go.
Okay, let's go take a look at it. Be careful where you walk. Don't fall down in that stuff.
This looks a little bit better than out there. What's that right there?
Well, that's a bike that I still race. That's a 1921.
You still what?
Still race.
Say that again.
Race. I still race this motorcycle. There's a picture of me on the racetrack.
And it runs.
Oh yeah.
With you on it.
With me on it. This is not exhibition racing either. This is real. First one across the finish line wins.
Well, if it's got two wheels and a motor, Big John's worked on it, ridden it, or brought it back to life. Some of these original vintage motorcycles go back nearly 100 years, and this dark shed represents one of the best collections in the world. But this curator of corrosion admits his most prized possession is actually parked in the pasture just outside.
Something I've been working on for years, and I can't ever seem to get it going, but it will go. If you're the kind of person that has to do something in a big hurry, and this is the kind of stuff that you don't want to get involved with.
Is that it, John?
That's it. A 1920 Wichita truck, made right here in Wichita Falls, Texas. Very few of them exist anymore.
I don't know that I've ever heard of a Wichita truck before, John.
Most people haven't. They were made from 1911 to the Depression, the early 30s. They were well known.
But just around Wichita Falls?
No, they were all over the world.
Wichita Truck?
A Wichita truck, yeah. The deal was on a Wichita truck that the sun never sets on a Wichita truck because they're all the way around the world.
They were a big name.
Yeah, they sold a lot of vehicles.
The Wichita Truck. From 1910 until the 30s, Wichita Motor Company designed and produced thousands of heavy-duty work trucks, shipping them around the world.
There's a lot of towns here that they use them for fire trucks, and the city Wichita Falls used to use them. That used to be their city trucks, was these things.
What happened to the Wichita Truck?
Well, like everything else, the Depression got it. General Motors and Fords all started making big trucks, and their stuff was a little more up to date. And Wichita was still making the stuff that they made in the teens, even in the early 30s.
I started working here in April of 1950.
Oddly enough, the original Wichita Truck factory still stands. Now called Wichita Energy, owner Donald Brown says one thing has never been moved since the day the assembly line shut down back in the Great Depression.
This is the first one.
The first one?
Yeah, sign on the back says the first truck they built.
What would you take for this old truck here?
Well, you make me an offer now.
Because this is a piece of history, isn't it?
I don't know really what it's worth, you know. I wouldn't sell it for...
Might be priceless?
Oh, I'm sure.
Because it is. This is a piece of local history, if nothing else.
This is probably in better shape than any of the others I've seen because they're out in the weather, and the engines don't run.
When's the last time this thing was driven?
Probably in the 60s.
In an ironic twist of time and place, the very first Wichita truck ever made is one of the only few known survivors. Housed in the old Wichita factory, this chain-driven work truck sits silent in a century-old shop.
You can come in here during the night and you can hear people over in the corner over there playing poker. I figured it's people that worked here that's passed on, you know. It gives you a cold feeling. Makes your hair stand up on your arm, you know.
So when you get this running, as far as you know, is this going to be the only one running?
As far as I know, it's going to be the only one running.
So you said earlier, sun never sets on the Wichita truck.
Well, you can say that, or you can say that the sun's rising on it too. I mean, because it's going to live again.
In an overgrown pasture in North Texas lie the leftovers from a legacy of industry and innovation. If the likes of Ford and Chevrolet weakened Wichita, then the Great Depression was its nail in the coffin.
And I found this probably 15 year or more before I ever got the truck.
So you found this, but so you had to get a truck to match
I had to get a truck to put it on.
Big John Chadwell plans to keep working through the rust and corrosion and someday hear the hum of a Wichita motor breaking the silence of almost a century.
These things have just about disappeared.
They have just about disappeared.
You're not going to let that happen?
No.